All right, so yeah, this would have to be the first full day of eating that I've ever done. And it's mainly because last week I was doing hack squat, and my job recently has been having me sit a lot. And so, I kind of had a tight back going into it. And then, I went a little heavier on hack squat, and boom, we have a strained left and right lower back. The right lower back, that's not really a new thing. It's been bearable for freaking years now. But I think this was, kind of like a sign to tell me, all right, you got to start taking care of your lower back, because this is just freaking ludicrous at this point. Like, you're avoiding lifts, just to make sure that you don't exacerbate it anymore. So every night I've been icing it for we're going on like 3 nights now. And I gotta say, it's been healing really, really nicely, but I've had to modify a lot of my workouts, so they haven't been nearly as intense. I'm basically, like, for instance, yesterday for legs, I was supposed to be doing like stiff leg deadlifts and then like some sort of squat right after that. But those are and any kind of hinging movement where I'm putting load under, just leaning forward in some way, that just doesn't work for me right now. So the workouts have been pretty boring. Like the leg workout yesterday was leg extension, leg curl, inner thigh machine, doing like a little bit of abductors on the same machine that you'd use for inner and outer thigh. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I just hit cabs. So it wasn't anything crazy. I wasn't trying to go for PRs or anything. I'm just trying to progressively overload, just to the point where it's like, okay, cool, I feel like I'm healing, rather than just letting my ego take over and freaking throwing on 4 or 5 plates for squat. So that is kind of where I'm landing right now. So I figured, while I'm injured, might as well do a full day of eating, since I'm going to be freaking doing that. and it's not like I stopped training. It's just the training is pretty boring right now, because I want to make sure that I'm prioritizing the healing over, doing anything too crazy in the gym. But for meal 1, we have cup of rice, tablespoon of ghee, and ghee is basically like clarified butter, but it is freaking delicious. And it's kind of a split crowd on this. Some people love it, some people hate it. I particularly love it. You can put it on pretty much anything that you want to make like really savory. Like popcorn's a really good one. Even if you just want to use it as like a base in the pan for like eggs or whatever you're cooking on the pan, it's amazing. But so tablespoon of ghee, cup of rice, and 4 eggs. So I usually like to get at least 1 meal before the gym, but preferably 2 or more meals. And it's just something about, for one, I don't need to eat nearly as much after, because right now we're in a major surplus, just to push the growth as much as possible on this bulk. So that's one reason. But the other reason is I notice a drastic change in my gym performance if I can get more than 1 meal in before. So that being said, this is a great bulk meal. Just because the rice, it's not like super voluminous, like rice cakes or anything that like kind of like puffs up. Those are great on a cut, because you don't have to eat that much food, and it makes you feel like you're eating a lot more food than you usually do. But for a bulk, this is a great staple. So I'm gonna get this down, and then we're gonna get some work done, and then in about 2 hours we'll get our next meal in, and that'll be our pre-workout meal. And so I'll show you what that is then. But yeah, I'm kind of happy I'm doing this full day of eating, because you know, if I were to show you what I was doing in the gym, it's nothing impressive. Like it's just lightweight, going, you know, pretty freaking heavy. Like as heavy as my back can possibly take it right now. And same thing with cardio. Like my cardio right now is a lot easier, because I usually do like an incline walk on the treadmill. That's just too much on my lower back right now. So we're doing no incline, and then we're actually taking the speed down, because I didn't realize like how much you use your lower back for walking, but even just like a little bit faster of a speed on the treadmill, it can, you know, definitely take a toll on your lower back. So we're going from like regularly like a 3 speed down to like a 2 point. We started with like a 2.6. Yesterday, I bumped it up to like a 2.8. So we're still keeping all the variables in motion, like the cardio, the training, obviously the eating, but we're just taking our recovery a lot more seriously. And it's kind of nice, if you ever have the money to invest in like a massage gun or anything of that nature, I would definitely recommend doing it, because it's so easy. Like it's not like you're getting on the ground with like a foam roller or lacrosse ball. Like it's like you can do it anywhere, and it's just it's nice to keep you loose. So I've been trying to do that every night, to really prioritize my recovery and just get healthy as quickly as possible. But anyways, that's pretty much it for meal 1. I'll show you what we have for meal 2, and then after that we I don't know if we'll be combining meals, because I usually don't like doing that, but you know, sometimes if it's like, you know, 7, 8 at night and we need to go to bed by 9 and we have 2 meals left, then you know, it's kind of what we need to do. But anyways, gonna get this meal down. I'll see you for meal 2. All right, so some considerable time has passed. We last ate around like 12-ish, 12:30, somewhere around there, and it's now almost 4. Oh God. But we have a new addition to the family. We actually just went to the shelter and got a cat, another cat. So this is going to be cat number 2, and it was mainly to just give him a friend, you know, give him someone to play with, and then at the same time, like, I don't know, it just seemed right, because he's usually home alone when we're off to work, and we want to make sure he has someone to cuddle with, play with, and I don't know, just be pals, you know, make the most of the situation while he's in here, because that's the thing, is he actually escaped into our neighbor's chimney one time, and super dangerous situation. So we've kind of decided to just keep him as an indoor cat, and then maybe if the time is right, we'll let him outside, highly supervised. But yeah, nothing to where it's like it's a hybrid situation, like indoor, outdoor, or anything. So, but anyways, for the food, we have our meal number 2 now. So we have 6 ounces of chicken, a cup of gnocchi, and then I'm supposed to have a tablespoon of almond butter, but you know, I'm not gonna, that's just weird to put it in the food. So we're gonna have the almond butter on the side, and I've noticed this is like a kind of like a smaller spoon. If I have a small spoon and I scoop, you know, like it's leveled with the spoon. If I have just this amount, maybe a little less, that's about a tablespoon. And if you really want to weigh it out, you can just, I would just put it on a scale, weigh it to like 15 grams, and then you're good to go. But for me, I'll just bring this wherever I go, pack my meal if I'm going to work, and then, you know, just have it there. But anyways, that's pretty much it. I've been kind of wondering what the macros are. So for meal 1, we had 4 eggs, 1 cup white rice, and then we had 1 tablespoon of ghee. Let's see. Okay, so that was 28 grams of protein, 47 grams of carbs, and then 34 grams of fat. So that's probably, I mean, the tablespoon of ghee is about, I think that's about 15 grams of fat, somewhere around there. And then the eggs, that's the other source of fat. So that's pretty good to start off the day. I have a fairly fast metabolism, so starting it off with a lot of fats, that'll be good for just slowing down the digestion. Now let's look at this one. So we have 6 ounces of chicken, 1 cup white rice, and 1 tablespoon of almond butter. Let's see, so we got, okay, so altogether that's 59 grams of protein, 48 grams of carbs, and 15 grams of fat. Yeah, that sounds about right. Or, oh, haha, I messed up. It's like, that does not seem right. So it's 6 ounces of chicken, we'll say chicken breast just to be super exact. It's not 1 cup of white rice, it's 1 cup potato gnocchi, which by the way is delicious. I highly recommend it. Just if you like kind of like a pasta type deal, but it's also like a little cheesy, like just the flavor, but there's no cheese in it, it's magical. Highly suggest gnocchi if you're open to it. And then we have 1 tablespoon of almond butter. So now let's see, because I know the gnocchi is going to be a little higher fat. So yeah, that's 60 grams of protein, only 35 grams of carbs, and then 16 grams of fat. Okay, so not too much more. Okay, so now let's look at it all together. So we got 4 eggs, 1 cup white rice, 1 tablespoon ghee, 6 ounce chicken, 1 cup gnocchi, 1 tablespoon almond butter. And that gives us, let's see. So far today, after this meal, I'll have 88 grams of protein, 82 grams of carbs, 50 grams of fat, and then, so that's about 1155 in terms of calories. So pretty good start. My thing is that I've never really had an issue with waiting to eat at the start of the day. It's more so towards the end. I'll just have all my meals in one, which I know isn't the best. So what I like to do is I'll space out most of my meals, and then the last 2 meals I'll combine those, just because I need to get to bed and I have a lot to eat. So, but anyways, that's it for what we're gonna have before our workout. Now after our workout, we'll have a shake, and I'll just tell you what's in it before we get into it. It's gonna be about 30 grams of whey protein isolate, only 10 grams of creatine, and then just water. I've seen those memes where it's like, or I guess it was just one meme, but it was like if you have your protein with water after a workout, it's like the most optimal thing that you can do. You know, it's like, it'll show like somebody from friggin' like Avengers or something, and they're like drinking something, and then it's just like people who have, I don't know, only water with their protein after a workout. Because the whole thing is like it hydrates you. Like you're pretty Like if you have a really good workout, chances are you're pretty dehydrated. So I mean, well, that has to do with a lot of different variables, but it's probably best to have some sort of hydration after your workout. One, because you'll probably be less prone to cramping, and then two, your recovery is going to be a lot better. So I don't know. I mean, that has to do with a lot of different variables, but for the most part, if you're going to have a shake after your workout, it's probably best to have it with water. But depends on your taste. Depends if you like milk with it instead or whatever. But that being said, that's pretty much all we have for these 2 meals. So now, yeah, I'll see you back here for the next slew of meals, because I think after my workout, I'm not usually too hungry because I have the shake in between my lift and my cardio. So once I get home, I'm not like ravished or anything, so but I will let you know what I have for those 3 meals, because I mean, I can tell you right now, but what's the fun in that? I have the whole meal plan set for me. So it's the macros, and just looking them up and like kind of knowing what I'm getting into, that is just kind of a plus. Like I know that what I'm eating on a day-to-day basis is going to be really conducive to muscle growth and fat loss. So it's not really, I'm not too worried about it. And that's kind of a perk of having a coach, and a really good coach at that. So, it's kind of like, what you're getting into when you have a coach. So I'll just leave it at that. But that being said, we're going to get this down, probably have a cup of coffee, and then go get this freaking lift in. So I'll see you for the next meal. There we go. So it is sometime later. I mean, we are friggin' late to the party as far as eating. It is 10:14 right now, but we have 3 meals to get through, and honestly, it's just routine at this point. It's not even that much. I mean, it is a lot of food to eat, but it's it's all part of the gig, so you just kind of get used to it. But let's see what our macros are at for the entire day. So I'll try to see if I can take my, oh yeah, and if you hear meows, we're training our other cat right now just to be alone in a room, because this kitten has been with their siblings their entire life. So we feel a little bad, but I mean, gotta do it. I don't know. So, all right, we're gonna have to manually type all this in because this is a PDF. So, what do we have? We have okay, so meal 1, 4 eggs, 1 cup white rice, 1 tablespoon of ghee. Meal 2 is 6 ounces of chicken, let's do 8 ounces of gnocchi. Let's see if that makes a difference. And then 1 tablespoon of almond butter. And then meal 3, and I'm also sniffling a little right now because I'm a little allergic to cats, so I'm just kind of getting used to her scent. But meal 3 is going to be 6 ounces of red meat, 1.5 cups of white rice, and then another tablespoon of almond butter. I know it sounds weird, but this meal plan has definitely been making my gut very happy. So, but that being said, I always keep the almond butter on the side and just kind of have a little spoonful, because I can't imagine red meat with rice with almond butter. That's freaking nuts. I mean, could work, but I've tried it and it's not as good as like butter, olive oil, whatever else like fat you could put in there. It just, it's not really the move for me. So meal 4 is going to be another 6 ounces of chicken, and then I think this one's technically 8 ounces of potatoes, but I mean, we're on a bulk, so the nutrients definitely matter, but since it's potato gnocchi, I go with gnocchi, so just because it's so freaking good. So 8 ounces of gnocchi, and then a half cup of veggies. And I just use like the Costco huge mixed vegetable bag, and it's frozen, so you can keep it for pretty long while, and then like in the freezer, but then at the same time it's just super nice to measure out, and you get all this different assortment of veggies. So I have like sugar snap peas, carrots, broccoli, green beans, bell pepper, mushroom, I think what are those called, like water chestnuts. So you just get a whole assortment. I really enjoy doing that. All right, and then the last meal 5, actually I'm also going to count the protein shake. Meal 5 is going to be 5 ounces of red meat, another 1.5 cup white rice, and then this time it's going to be half tablespoon of ghee, and then we'll put our meal 6, which I already had, and that was immediately post-workout, was 30 grams whey protein isolate, and then 10 grams of creatine. All right, just reviewing. I think I got all this down. Yeah, all right. Let's see what it comes out to. Macros for all this comes out to, oh man, the Wi-Fi is not Wi-Fiing right now. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so meal 1, 28 grams of protein, 46 grams of carbs, 34 grams of fat, and then we'll just skip through all the different meal breakdowns. Jesus. Okay, so for the whole day, it's going to be, and this is give or take, I'm like, for the meals, they're very weighed out, but like for the protein isolate, like I do like 1.5 scoops, so it's more like 40 to 50 grams of whey isolate, but it's going to be 3,590 calories, 271 grams of protein, 335 grams of carbs, and 131 grams of fat. And so for the percentage, that's 30% protein, 37% carb, and then 33% fat. Yeah, okay. Actually, to get a little more specific, I'm gonna go, because it's suggesting for me, do I want to do like 90-10 red meat, or do I want to do 85-15? And I always get the 90-10, so. All right. So all that comes out to, oh wow, it does change it quite a bit. So 262 grams of protein, 332 grams of carb, and then 110 grams of protein, or 110 grams of fat, and that's 3,450 calories for the day. So that's pretty freaking good. I didn't realize I was eating that much. I just kind of follow the plan and don't ask questions. But anyways, that's pretty much where we're landing with all this. This I mean, it's pretty boring. You got white rice, ghee, red meat right here. You got gnocchi, chicken, veg right here. And then you got your regular red meat and rice right here. And then, you know, just keeping the almond butter on the side. But that's pretty much freaking it. I'm gonna put some ice on my back, and I've kind of been on like a random movie kick. Like I just look up a random movie and then, you know, just see how it is. But yeah, that's pretty much freaking it. We're also gonna get some massage work done. So we're freaking set. Not really much else to add there, but that's a full day of eating for me. And I've been eating like this for like a week and a half now, because we had the Tahoe trip, and then, you know, I was kind of following, like I already meal prepped like 2 weeks ago for the meal prep that I had the week before. And so I already prepped all of that for Tahoe. And so like I didn't have this meal plan for like the first day and a half of the week. And so we just rolled on through, just wanting to see how it's affecting my body. And honestly, it's been going really well. Like we have, I think we're at like 216, 217 pretty consistently, getting a little bit leaner, a little bit bigger. So, I mean, that's the plan for right now. But I did learn something pretty recently about the peptides that I'm using. So I've been using backwater, which is short for bacteriostatic water, for my IGF-LR3. And so that apparently is no bueno. I mean, it'll work, but for like pretty low doses, which I'm going at right now. But I think it's like if you're taking anything more than like 30 units, then, you know, you're probably denaturing the IGF-LR3 in the long run. So I'm only taking 10 units, so it won't make too much of a difference. But the next cycle that we'll have for the IGF-LR3 and the YK11 combined, we're going to be using acetic acid instead of the backwater as the reconstituting factor for that IGF-LR3. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see how much of an effect it has, because that's pretty much why we're eating so much right now, is because the IGF-LR3 is specifically for nutrient shuttling. So in other words, it's making the food a lot more effective for everything, for muscle building, for fat loss, for cognition, literally everything. So that's kind of where we're landing right now. But yeah, we'll have to see how that all pans out. But for now, we're just gonna freaking grub. It is officially 10:25. So I gotta get all this in and then chill out, ice my back, go to bed. But that being said, y'all, I will see you maybe tomorrow probably tomorrow, because I want to get back into the routine of, you know, filming my workouts, because this injury has been, I mean, it's been frustrating, but at the same time, I think it's been necessary, because I've been kind of putting off treating my right lower back, and then my left lower back, I mean, that's been the most recent strain that I've had. But that being said, icing it every night, prioritizing my recovery with a lot of this massage work has been working out really well. I just making sure that I'm keeping up with my recovery as much as my training. So anyways, we're gonna get this freaking food in, and then I'll probably see y'all tomorrow for some shoulders. So thanks for joining me on this full day of eating.